Visitors to this part of Northumberland come for two main reasons, really. One is to see the beautiful rolling countryside, and two is to visit the holy island of Lindisfarne, home of the world-famous Lindisfarne Mead, worth a pilgrimage in itself. I'm here in the wild, windswept, mystical ruins of Lindisfarne Priory in search of the man who makes Lindisfarne Mead, and I've tracked him down, Lindsay Hackett.
Nice to meet you, Russell.
Well, Lindsay, obviously you've moved to new premises now.
Well, the roof came off the Priory, so we had to go to the new winery, yes. But,
So the Vikings used to row over here in the 700s in search of your mead, was it?
I think it's about 1204 or 5 years ago that they actually sacked the museum and chased everybody down to Durham Cathedral.
So tell me about the history of the island.
Quite simply, Lindisfarne, or its correct name, the Holy Island of Lindisfarne, is the cradle of Christianity for England. St Aidan came from Iona, which is just off the Isle of Mull in Scotland, and he asked if he could set up a monastery here and bring Christianity to the northeast and then England, and that's where it all started from.
So we think maybe the monks made the mead here.
They did. Just to our left is actually what remains of the old brew house.
Right.
Nobody knows what was actually made there, but I mean they did brew something.
Of course, so you now make Lindisfarne Mead, which is famous really all over the world.
It is probably the most famous type of its product in the world.
So how did it all start?
Basically, my father had this idea in his head. He was a very entrepreneurial type of guy. He was supplying sake to Chinese and Japanese restaurants before it was even thought of. And he had this crazy idea in the 60s of coming up here before the tourist trade was really in its infancy and making something, you know, a quality product that had history attached to it, and that's where it all started.
And you were the man that really launched it in the early 70s?
I took it on in the early 70s and got us onto virtually every high street in the country, yes.
And it's not just mead you make, is it? It's other stuff.
Oh no, we've got tremendous range of product. I mean, we've got preserves, fudges that we make on the premises as well. We've got fruit wines, it just goes on and on.
And so how much mead do you make?
About 60,000 litres a year. So it's not cottage industry and it's not major player, but it's a lot of product.
Well, I'm not going to stand here any longer in this extraordinary place because I'm going to taste some of your mead, which you've warned me will warm the cockles of my heart.
It will do. That's just what we need, I think.
Come on, mate, let's get tasting. Oh, so here we are in the windswept, mystical winery showroom.
Slightly warmer in here, I think.
Slightly. I've got my coat off. Now I'm going to taste some of these. This is orange curd, isn't it? Made with Lindisfarne avocat. Oh. That's lovely.
Very smooth.
It is. It's very creamy, isn't it? A very creamy, well, curd basically.
That's right.
It's nice orange flavour. This one's black cherry preserve with.
That's made with whole black cherries and mead.
And mead. Mm-hmm. And these big sellers?
Oh, very much so. They're all quality products.
That's nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's fruity, very fruity. And the mead just says hello at the end. It's really nice. This is red currant jelly. What would you eat this with? Is it turkey?
I would sooner have that with turkey or chicken than cranberry. It's much nicer.
There are bits of fruit in that though, it's just jelly, isn't it?
That's right.
That's why it's called red currant jelly. Right, and now the apricot chutney made with Lindisfarne Mead. This is a leader.
No, it's not. It's not one of the top sellers, but it's...
Whoa!
Yep.
Whoa! It's got a very sharp taste, doesn't it?
It's got cinnamon, apple, you name it. Beautiful.
Sharp. It's got a nice kind of afterburn of spice.
It has, yeah. Superb with a ploughman's lunch.
Very nice. Now you see, these have all got mead in, or most of them.
Uh-huh.
So what I want now is the mead.
Okay.
Let's go and taste it. So where does mead come from?
Well, mead is probably the oldest alcoholic drink in the world. The word honeymoon, for instance, comes from the ancient Norse custom of having newlyweds drink mead for a whole moon or month, which was supposed to increase fertility and a happy life.
I can see how it would increase fertility, of course.
I mean, it's known as an aphrodisiac, but...
Is it?
Yeah, oh, yes, yeah.
Wow.
It's the honey.
I'll have 37 bottles in, please.
No problem.
So how do you make Lindisfarne Mead, Lindsay?
What we do is we bring in, it is a manufactured product. I mean, if you can envisage something like Martini or Gibboni, we take a high-strength fermented white grape,
Right.
and then we transform it with the addition of honey and local herbs and water, and we add a little bit of pure alcohol just to fortify it. But it is a very unique drink.
And how long does that take to ferment or mix together?
The whole process takes about 6 months.
About 6 months.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Can I taste
Please,
Lindisfarne Mead,
pleasure.
please? What sort of white grape do you use for this? Or is that a secret?
It is a secret.
Okay, it's a secret. It does have a very sort of grapey wine aroma. The other meads I've tasted have been very, very sweet, honey-based.
Well, what we do is we don't use any artificial flavourings or essences or colourings. What you see is what you get.
And the taste is somewhat between a dessert wine and a white wine.
Well,
it's very
often,
pleasant.
It is, but I often say it's like sherry without the burnt taste.
Mm. And it doesn't taste strong, but it's quite strong.
It packs a
That's
punch.
absolutely lovely. That's not too sweet at all.
Good.
Cheers. Tell you what, Sarah, you really do need to try this